We sadly don't have a lot of games about Arthurian legends, so when Netmarble reached out and asked us to try out their free-to-play RPG King Arthur Legends Rise, I was immediately intrigued. So here is everything you need to know about the game, from exploration to the interesting depth you find in combat. Thanks to Netmarble for sponsoring the video. You can check out the game for free via the link in the video description. So yes, as you might have guessed from the name, you play as Arthur, the rightful king of Britain, and you're wielding the legendary blade Excalibur to fight against your enemies. You can also expect familiar characters like Merlin, Morgan, and the Knights of the Round Table to show up, but it's definitely not a one-for-one retelling of Arthur's story. There's more magic at play, with Excalibur being possessed by a mysterious spirit, strange rituals creating monsters and undead creatures, and even Arthur himself possesses powerful blood that makes him more than just the king of Britain. The story is honestly pretty intriguing, and since every story chapter takes you to a new location to meet new people, you're not likely to get bored either. And while the story campaign is very linear, at least in the early chapters, you can return to these areas later for side questing and exploration in what the game calls adventures. What's cool is that the quests you do here take place in the aftermath of the main story, so it builds on what you've already done, which is a neat touch. You can also find various chests and supply stashes with golden rewards, and even the lore collectibles hidden throughout the different maps have value. Each chapter namely has rewards for fully completing it, which includes finding all collectibles and opening all chests. But while exploration can be very rewarding, the main thing you'll be focused on in Arthur Legends Rise is the turn-based combat, which has some very interesting ideas at its core. The basics are probably familiar to you. You have a party of 4 characters, each with their own set of skills. There's a turn order that shows who will be attacking next, you know the stuff. But then there are systems that spice up the formula a bit, like Vigor. This is the resource you use to cast your more powerful attacks or spells, and each character gets 1 Vigor when it's their turn. The catch here is that Vigor is shared with the entire party, which immediately creates interesting tactical situations. Do you want to go all out with a powerful attack from your DPS, or do you want to save that Vigor for a clutch heal that might keep you in the fight? Even basic attacks are made interesting as they allow you to generate an extra point of Vigor on your turn, which, because it is a shared resource, is then immediately passed along to the next character in line. And speaking of characters, you can pick from a wide range of tanky brawlers, sneaky rogues, and powerful mages to form your party. There's a large variety of knights and bowmen, but some stranger creatures too, like fairies and, well, whatever this guy is. While you'll earn some by simply playing through the story, you also want to try out your luck at the Summoning Lake, where you draft random characters in the hopes of getting a powerful rare or legendary to add to your party. Don't worry, you get plenty of summon tokens from both the main story and the game's various other activities, so you'll have a wide selection of characters available to you in no time. Each of these characters of course has a role to fill, like tank, DPS or healer, but you'll also see these little elemental icons next to their portrait. Each character is tied to either fire, wind or ice, and as you can see in this icon, each element has one they're strong against and one that they are weak to. The damage bonus against enemies weak to your character's element is 25% on every attack, so that is quite a significant bonus you don't want to miss out on. But yeah, that also means that you want to collect different classes with varying elements so that you can match your party to counter whatever enemies you will be facing. By the way, if you enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Now luckily, you are able to check up on what enemies you'll fight and what abilities they have before going into a battle, so you can adjust your party accordingly. And while matching elements is important to optimize your damage, it is far from the only thing you need to take into account when selecting your party. Take this boar boss for example, who is part of a repeatable set of boss fights that you can use to farm for character upgrade materials. It's important to learn how to take him down quickly to farm these materials efficiently, and by having a look at the tips the game gives you for the fight, we learn he is able to cast a barrier on himself that blocks all damage and takes a certain amount of hits to destroy. So ideally, to break it down, you want attacks that are able to hit multiple times, like Cormac's ability Unstoppable Rage that is able to dish out 5 strikes to an enemy. There's even the fact that battles can take place under certain conditions, like day or nighttime or different types of weather. Certain characters or sometimes even individual moves gain extra buffs and effects when fighting under certain conditions that make them even stronger. So checking information beforehand is really rewarded if you adapt your strategy accordingly. Now I talked about character upgrade upgrade materials earlier because leveling those is necessary if you want to progress to the more difficult content. You can level characters up with XP potions, and at certain level intervals they need to be advanced, which is where those materials I mentioned earlier come into play. You can also equip them with armor and jewelry to increase their stats, with set bonuses that activate if you equip multiple items from the same set. There are also special bosses that allow you to farm for items from a specific set, and each individual piece can also be upgraded to increase the effects. There's always something to farm for, and it's really clear where you get the items you need, which is one of the things I really like about this game. And I haven't even talked about the most exciting upgrade yet, as next to summoning new characters, you also earn tokens that allow you to summon new weapons, or relics as the game calls it. These don't give you an upgrade to your attack as you might expect, but they do something much more interesting. They allow you to change a character's element. Not just that, you also change their active abilities, with each character having 3 potential weapons and movesets. Take our protagonist Arthur for example, who starts with a fire-based moveset consisting of a double strike, a single attack with a chance to stun, and a powerful single target burst attack. Switch his blade to one with the wind element though, and the second ability changes to a party-wide attack buff, and the third becomes a 3-hit combo which not only deals high damage, but is way better for stripping barriers like the one on that board from before. While I said earlier that you want to switch out heroes to counter the enemy's elements, if you find the right relics, your character can become much more versatile, meaning you can use your favorites in almost any situation. Later on, you'll even unlock the ability to upgrade your relics back in your home base of Camelot. You'll return here after each story chapter, or in between if you so choose, and after finishing a quest line, you'll often unlock a new building or two that opens up a new feature. It starts out simple with a training area where you can learn about both the basics and some of the more intermediate aspects of combat, with each training challenge also offering some rewards, so they're definitely worth your time. But soon after, you unlock the ability to enter the restricted area, which is where you find those special bosses I mentioned earlier, or the Colosseum, which gives you access to the game's PvP arena. Here, you can fight teams compiled by other players to rise up the leaderboards and earn a special currency that you can spend in the Colosseum shop on things like extra summons. You'll also have to select a team of defending characters for when other players want to fight you, because to clarify, you're not directly fighting other people, you're simply fighting their team of characters. You're not in direct control when people attack you either, but you can select which characters should prioritize which skills to form a strategy for your team. You can also use this feature in regular combat and set the game to auto battle if you want a more laid-back experience. While you definitely want manual control for some of the more challenging fights, once you've gotten the hang of some of the repeatable bosses, you can simply set up a strategy for your party to run and turn up the battle speed so animations pass quicker. This makes repeated encounters feel like much less of a chore, and it allows you to level up characters quickly so you can keep playing the story or exploring the different maps in adventures. And it makes playing on the go much easier too, as there is both crossplay and cross progression between the PC and mobile versions of the game. Again, King Arthur Legends Rise is free to play and out now on Steam. Check it out via the special link in the video description, and thanks again to Netmarble for sponsoring the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content on big upcoming RPGs, and watch another video of ours by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.